welcome to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. I'm your host, Louis Padian. I hope that you're doing well and are enjoying the podcast and the topics we've covered so far. These podcasts are released every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening to be kept up to date. So today is episode 100, and whilst there are lots of things I could cover, this is probably one of the ones that is most spoken about online and something that I thought would be best to do a bit of a deep dive into and sort of discuss what the evidence suggests around this. And that is, of course, apple cider vinegar. So we're going to jump into what it is, what the potential uses are for it, and particularly what the evidence is around sort of health and health benefits and health claims around it as well. But first of all, what actually is apple cider vinegar? So apple cider vinegar, or ACV, you might have seen it referred to online, is a vinegar produced by fermenting apples. The fermentation process converts sugars into acetic acid. The key component responsible for its sour taste and very formidable and pungent smell. It's used for food preservatives and flavourings, and yeah, like I said, there's a lot of health gurus online talking around it, and we want to know whether that's worthwhile or not. When we have a look into the actual uses, there's some to do with food, there's some other ones that are quite useful, and then also the health stuff as well. So the main one is sort of using it as a flavouring in salad dressings and marinades and sauces and chutneys. A splash of apple cider vinegar can help really balance the sweetness and richness of dishes, and could be something that you might see in making your own salad dressings, making your own chutneys and things, and can be quite useful for that. Secondly, people use it for cleaning products as well. Diluting it down actually can give it a real benefits in regards to its acidic properties, and like I said, eco-friendly, handy to have, and helps with general cleaning around the house if the surfaces are able to handle it because of the acidity. But the main reason you're probably listening to me today is around the stuff around general ailments, weight loss, blood sugar control, digestion, which we're going to jump into now. So, weight loss. Some studies have suggested that apple cider vinegar might increase feelings of fullness, potentially helping weight management, but the evidence isn't conclusive on this. A 2020 review published in the nutrition reviews found no definitive proof that significant weight loss benefits from apple cider vinegar consumption. And I think this is really true of a lot of products, that whilst we're looking into certain additions to the diet, certain supplements, it can pull out some really promising results. But we really need to get into the nitty gritty. It takes many years, various levels of testing, having a look at sort of general observational studies versus randomized control studies, and seeing whether this thing is actually worth the hype that people have around it, promising that it's going to melt away and burn away fat. Some of the studies that suggest that it might sort of help with that aren't very robust and potentially need further looking into, and a lot of the more robust studies haven't found any real significant difference at all. And when we have a look at systematic reviews or meta-analysis, what they do is they pull all the research together, have a look at removing all the other confounding variables around groups, analysis group size, population variance, into the intervention variance, and do it in a real clever way that can basically say, right, considering all these other aspects, if we equate for those or take account for those when adding apple cider vinegar to a diet, will it help with weight loss? And there isn't any evidence there at the moment to suggest that there is. Is this me saying that it's not worth it taking it at all? Probably at the moment, yes. Does this mean that might change in the future? 100%. With research, things are changing all the time. There might be certain ways in the future that this might be amazing in regards to weight loss, or they might find a different version of apple cider vinegar or a certain part of it that might be useful. But currently, don't believe any of the hype around it. The research doesn't support any of the claims around weight loss helping melt away fat or anything like that. The main thing to focus on when looking at weight loss, and this is often the hardest thing for people to do, people will be looking into the weeds on certain supplements, certain exercise regimes. If I do 6-minute abs each day and I take my apple cider vinegar and I fast in the morning and I go for an ice bath, all those things say they're going to help me lose weight, and they might to a very, very small amount, if at all. When you'd be better off focusing on the non-sexy stuff, being consistent with your diet, being consistent with your physical activity in general, looking at better sleep, managing your life stresses, focusing on better relationships in your relationship with food, getting outside each day in nature. So many things that aren't sexy, that take time and take effort and being consistent with, and that's how we see the long-term effects. They can't be done in a, right, if you do this really aggressive thing for 10 days, you'll see amazing results. You probably will if you're more active each day, manage your diet a bit better, get outside each day, have better social relationships, manage your sleep. You'll probably feel a lot better in 10 to 15 days. Will that mean that you lose the amount of weight that some of these products or some of these gurus suggest you will if you just add apple cider vinegar? Probably not, but their claims won't live up to it either. And this is what really frustrates me, is that we put a lot of effort and focus into the smalls. And I remember somebody saying it's called majoring in the minors. You're trying to really put all your effort into stuff that isn't really concrete, when actually there's a big area that if you put a little bit more effort into, a little more focus into, you could get amazing results in the long term, and we know that works long term for people. So like I said, remembering lasting weight management focuses on holistic approach, looking at balancing your diet, regular physical activity, managing life stresses, and looking at your overall lifestyle. So weight loss, not really anything there regards to that. Blood sugar. So some research suggests that apple cider vinegar might improve insulin sensitivity and potentially benefit blood sugar control in people with type 2 diabetes. Again, these findings are preliminary. They need more robust studies. They need more or better research in this area to confirm this. So while some studies might suggest that it might benefit our blood sugar control, there are other studies out there that suggest that it doesn't. So again, if you want to manage your blood sugars a bit better, and this is people who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, if you are neither of those, then don't get worried about blood sugars, because there's not really anything to worry about. Your blood sugars will go up and down naturally throughout the day. Post-meal, you will get a rise in your blood sugars. That's a normal function. If you are pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, then managing some lifestyle factors is probably a better way to go. Having a better look at your diet, all the, again, non-sexy stuff, rather than adding this super supplement that you think is going to solve all your ailments, or a sold to you that's going to solve all your ailments, probably isn't the thing that we should be looking at long term. So again, some studies suggest it is beneficial to blood sugar management, but it's not really there. And I wouldn't suggest it wouldn't be one of the things that I'd advise to a patient or a client. There'd be lots of other things we consider before this. Last but not least, helps with digestion and promoting stomach acid production. There isn't really a huge amount of research around this. There isn't any research around the potential long-term impact on gut health. It's quite a delicate ecosystem within there. And again, it requires further investigation. We're looking at what we discussed in the last episode. If you're looking at improving your digestion, having a look at a diet that's diverse in lots of fruits, vegetables, legumes, lentils, all those types of things, making sure we're getting lots of prebiotics and probiotics in there, but also managing our life stresses around it, managing our sleep a bit better. All these things will have much more impact and better return on investment than trying to have just an apple cider vinegar each day. And never to mind, it tastes rancid, and people don't exactly look forward to their apple cider vinegar in the morning when they do take it. So out of those three, loosely, there might be some stuff in the future, but currently it doesn't stand up to the criticism, or doesn't stand up to the evidence that it might improve these areas, and you'd be much better off focusing on other factors as always, and that would be a more balanced approach to that. So if we're having a look at the overall consensus, the current research on apple cider vinegar, its health benefits, is intriguing and something that obviously I'll keep a close eye on moving forward, but more high quality studies are needed for definitive conclusions. So if people are making grand claims about it, they haven't read the research, they don't understand the science, and tell them to give this episode a listen to as well. There is limited evidence to most of the claims. Many health benefits that are claimed lack strong scientific backing. Further research is needed to solidify the connection between apple cider vinegar and more specific health outcomes. Big thing to consider, safety considerations. Apple cider vinegar is generally safe for most people in moderation, but if you're taking it each day, if you're having excessive amounts, can damage your tooth enamel because of the acidity and irritate the throat or esophagus as well. So these are things that are probably not worth the risk, in my opinion. Damaging the skin in those areas could lead to long-term health consequences that we don't want to consider, tooth enamel especially. So important that taking something that you feel might help with these areas that don't have strong evidence and backing isn't worth the risk of damaging your teeth, damaging your throat or your esophagus as well, and potentially damaging your stomach with the acidity there as well. So that is worth considering. My main takeaway, as always in this area, focus on balance, focus on having a balanced diet, balanced lifestyle in general, focus on your overall holistic health and well-being, prioritize a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, legumes, good amount of protein there, getting a good amount of fibre, foods that you enjoy, whole grains, lean proteins, vegetables, everything in there, getting a nice mixture and balance in there. Focusing on regular activity, but also managing your stress, looking at your sleep, and maintaining overall good health and well-being. Don't put all your money on this. For me, it's not worth the hype. It is not worth the noise or headspace at all. It may be in the future, and I would never discount anything, but currently the evidence doesn't support it. So if you are considering taking apple cider vinegar for any of the benefits, I'd probably give it a miss and focus your effort on other areas that we know is going to get a better return on investment. Focus on your diet, your physical activity, your overall lifestyle stresses, your sleep, your social relationships, your relationship with food, relationship with exercise, and all these other wonderful things instead. So there you have it. Thank you very much for listening to today's episode of the Balanced Approach podcast. If you have any questions, queries, or would like to reach out to me, please do. I am at Louis Padian Nutrition, which is at LOUISPADIAN Nutrition on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all other social media platforms. If you're looking for support in achieving your goals and living a healthier, happier, and more balanced life in the process, click the link below and inquire about working with me. Remember to subscribe to the Balanced Approach podcast wherever you're listening for more insightful episodes, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.